I call the meeting to order at 6:32. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're going to open up the public hearing on Local Law 1-2020 to set a date for the hearings before the Board of Assessment review. This will be held by teleconference, and people have been encouraged to call in between 6:30 and 6:45. I have a phone available. We could put it on speaker so everybody can hear. In the meantime, I don't want to hold up the meeting 15 minutes waiting for a phone call that may never come. So with the board's consent, I thought we could move on and then pause the meeting if somebody calls.
Sure, sounds good.
Does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Correspondence, we have the Verizon yearly contract for the town clerk line and the fax line for the town clerk that I also use in my office. A couple things is that, you know, if Verizon Fiber comes through and let's say it's made available here at the town hall by December, we're beholden to this contract until next May. Now, we can choose to not do a yearly contract and go to a monthly contract, but that will increase the fees. I did call to see what the fee increases would be, and unfortunately, getting a hold of anybody during this era is like pulling teeth. So I can't give you any answers there. I profusely apologize.
But it's not definite that they're
It's
having
not
it
definite.
by December, and I don't know, I think you'd be pressing your luck if they did. I know they are moving forward because they've been working on our road, but
yeah, and if we, you know,
being ready by then, but who knows?
on here it says the early termination of the agreement will result in an early termination charge equal to 25% of the monthly reoccurring charges for the number of months remaining in the term. So that would be, you know, we're probably talking $250 to terminate.
Well, if we keep this, can we go on it in May then, or is that going to be a big deal if we do the year agreement with Verizon now and say this does come through maybe the beginning or middle of next year, you know, which I honestly don't think it's going to be ready by December.
Well, I just wanted to give you guys all the options and the information.
You could still keep the phones, couldn't you?
Well, once the town hall's set up for fiber, most likely they're going to disconnect the copper service.
Oh.
That's the issue.
I don't know.
I'm not saying they will, but it's a possibility that they're not going to run both technologies at the same time, because once we get fiber in here, our phone lines will also run on the fiber.
I wish we knew for sure.
I know, and that's the problem that I had with this.
What if we don't update these, so what happens?
We will go to a month-to-month service contract, and the bill will just be increased. It doesn't look like a lot.
How much do we pay now?
For these two phone lines, I'm going to guess $200 a month, maybe a little over.
$200 a month, and what do you think it's going to go up to if we just went? That would be $200 a month.
I couldn't get a hold of them to get that answer. So
I'd suggest staying with it as long as, you know, we go through it and with everything going on, and until you can get a hold of somebody, make a decision at that point. But because we don't have any exacts, I would just say continue with it because we need a phone.
Yeah, but you're still like...
well, we'll never ever, the phone's not getting rid of. It's not like if we don't accept this contract, we're going to lose our phone lines. It's just whether we decide to go with a yearly or a monthly.
I would stick to a yearly and reevaluate because they may have buyouts by then too. And it keeps you at the same rate, so you're not looking at flux and this month we're going to cancel, next month we may have fiber, we won't, whatever. We go through until June and then reevaluate then. And hope by then we have it, and if, in the event we don't have it.
And I mean, since we're staying with Verizon, you know, one of the things I wanted to ask them was, because this might be coming to the area before this contract would be fulfilled for the year service, if we could possibly
Sometimes.
not have the early termination fee because we're staying with Verizon, we're just going with a different technology.
They may, I don't know. It
Yeah, and
depends
that's
on
really,
how you could
I
speak
wish I
up.
could have brought that to you, but I couldn't. I stayed on
We
hold
don't
for about a
even know
half an
that for
hour.
sure.
No, I mean, it does have, you select a different Freedom for Business one-year term package, whether that's optional in the fiber service, I don't know. I mean, I would personally stick to the year and hope to God be able to finagle them down if there's an issue, since we've been long-term customers.
No, go ahead and do it, because I don't know if fiber's gonna be in here for another 6 months now or so.
Yeah, you know,
I don't think
and I think that if
If
they put fiber here and they say we have to cut the copper lines, they shouldn't be charging us fees if that's their decision. It's not our decision that they did it, it's their decision
It's all
that
the
they
same
did it.
company.
Yeah, so, any other discussion? Somebody want to make a motion to accept the yearly contract for Verizon?
I'll make the motion to accept the yearly contract for Verizon Freedom for Business for a 1-year term agreement.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's out of the way. Highway Superintendent, you're up. If you'd like to come a little closer over here, or
Yeah,
just because of the recorder, that would be
I can
great.
get over here somewhere that would.
Just trying to make sure everything's picked up on the
I
recorder.
can move if you want to sit here, or you can sit right there, you're still 6 feet.
I'll wander around. Well, in the report, I believe you all did
Let's go.
practice in that. We're getting switched over to our summer work right now. Completed sweeping the roads, all the roads have been swept at least twice. A couple of them we've done 3 times. We really need some rain. And a lot of them. Some of them are still pretty dusty, but,
I apologize, I made a copy for him and then left it on the counter.
completed the, thank you. We completed the sweeping. Today we finished up the debris cleanup related to the Halloween storm. And I will get that paperwork finished up and sent in to FEMA so we can get our reimbursements with that. I do still have conference calls every week with FEMA and Homeland Security over our progress that we've been making, and working up to our permanent work, which we're going to get started on within the next couple of weeks. We've got a little bit of work to do. We got to get the trucks squared away for summer work and that, and then we'll start on that permanent work. I did meet 2 weeks ago, I believe it was now, with Steve Santamaria from Fulton County Emergency Management. And he came out with a side-by-side, and we took a trip up the Seco Road north of the bridge. We identified 12 locations up there that need repair. Most of them are replacing gravel that was washed out. There's a few of them that are around culvert pipes. We had a couple of pipes washed away that we got to replace. We've got some other pipes in that area that I believe are too small. They need to be larger pipes, which will help prevent future problems up there. But I met with Dave Mosier, the guy's name is, from Fulton County Soil and Water, and went over some of our culvert work that we're going to get started on. And he's doing an assessment of the drainage areas around the culverts to make sure we got the right size pipes, which he believes we do. He's also helping get through the paperwork with DEC and APA. And they will also work with me when it comes to doing those pipes up on the Seco Road. To ensure we put the right size pipes in, so we don't run into any more problems. Met with Andy Bell and Randy Basco RD Construction. He is on Fulton County's contract list, so we can hire him through the Fulton County contract for repair work on the Pacico Road Bridge. It should come in somewhere between 70 and 75,000 to fix it. The fix will be replacing the wing wall on the begin abutment left side that was washed out and fell in the creek. Fixing the scour that was underneath that abutment, and on the end right wing wall, there's some scour under that we'll fix with concrete also. New York State inspected the bridge yesterday, and they red flagged it, which I knew they were going to do because of the damages to it. But they didn't find any other issue with the bridge. So once we fix those problems that we knew we had, we'll be able to reopen the bridge, and they'll have to, they want to do another inspection after it's been open to traffic for a period of time to make sure the repairs are holding up. But there should not be an issue there. They should have the quote back from Randy within the next week or so, and we'll know exactly what the price should be. They're also, Andy's also looking at a couple other options for that Stony Brook culvert. Looking at maybe putting in a double pipe or possible building a couple of walls on abutment, similar to what's there right now. So we're still in discussions on that. The Voorhees Road, looking at the tax maps, talking to the surveyor that surveyed over there last, and Heather's done some research on it also. Everything I can find shows the town owns quite a lot of property on the side of the road away from the bank. So we should be able to move that road over without having to go through buying property or any of that. We still may have to do some kind of stabilization on the bank, but not to the extent we would if we needed to keep the road where it is. So,
See, the road curves like this, but the land goes up like that. So we could just potentially just move the road over this way.
Good.
I think that's
Just giving you a little
what we-
visual.
I think that's what he was trying to tell you at the one meeting and the public meeting.
Yeah.
That's what I think he was trying to say. At that time.
It could
But it
be.
was kind of missed because people didn't really realize
Yeah.
that was like that.
Yeah, that would be better.
I mean, before we move the road, we need to confirm that.
Right.
Everything I can see, it appears there won't be an issue for us to move that road over 50 or 60 feet in that corner
Yeah.
where we need to. It will require National Grid to relocate a couple of poles that we'll have to work on with that. And we'll also need Andy to do some engineering work on there, because there's quite a lot of water on the uphill side of that we'll need to address to get across that road, so we don't have other problems there. Originally, the quote on the repairs over there was $350,000. We should be able to get that done for a fraction of that. I'm thinking probably 60 to 70, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I guess what I'm getting at with all of these repairs, our initial numbers that we had were going to be a lot less than all of that. We still have to remember the 75% reimbursement, but we also need to get moving ahead on getting this stuff started, because I mean it's going to be June here in a couple of weeks, and if we don't start moving ahead, we're going to run out of time.
Larry, what's the date? What was the date it was that was without us having filed an extension? It was sometime in June, right?
Well, we've got till
June 2021 for repairs.
for repairs. We've got,
Right.
we're on an extension right now for our our damage inventory
Okay,
because we couldn't get to the Pacifico Road.
Right.
And, the FEMA people wanted an exact count of locations and what had to happen up there.
okay,
So we've got an extension to, I think it's the 20th of June, or July 1st, I think, on that.
I think it's July 1st because I got that
July
email.
1st on that, but that will be done, now, I just got all the information back from Steve the other day, and I'll have that inventory complete for them, next week.
okay,
And, I'll send a copy of that list on to you also. But we've got all the sites identified on Pacifico Road now, and the sites identified on Edic Road, the seasonal portion of Edic Road,
okay,
that, a lot of it's been fixed, but we need to do some more work there to finish it up. I also, the FEMA people in their initial damage assessment have not seen the upper end of the Pacifico Road, nor have they seen the seasonal portion of the Edic Road. So we, still waiting to get them up there to
okay,
understand what all we're talking about. Mainly regarding the Windfall Bridge, because, we've set that bridge back on the abutments, so snowmobiles could use it over the winter,
right,
but it's in no means, the way it needs to be. And, we need to get, determination from them whether they're gonna invest any money in it or not. It's essentially a bridge that is on a dead-end road, and it's at the, pretty near the end of the road. So I'm not sure just what's gonna happen on that,
okay,
but, we, with the savings that I found in the way we're gonna do these repairs against what we originally were planning on. Another thing that I've learned, I talked to the DOT guy that is running the CHIPS program right now, and the letters that generally come out every quarter, they haven't come out for this quarter on the CHIPS money yet, but he anticipates they're going to show up saying what everybody's balance is and basically what they are. I got one in January. Usually we get one about this time of year. We get another one in the fall. But they haven't came yet, but all of the projects, I described all the projects that we've got, the wash house, the culverts, the bridge, everything that we've got to fix. And I asked him if we could use CHIPS money for our 25% match that we've got to have for FEMA. And he said it appears that all of those projects would be eligible. He had to make some phone calls, and he's going to send me the information once he gets an answer. So if that is the case, the money that we're going to be on, I don't know what for, whatever you want to call it, is not going to be an awful lot. It shouldn't be more than 50 or 60.
As a reminder,
Reimbursements.
right.
we had about $90,000 in CHIPS this year, and we had about $40,000, I believe, rolled over. So it was about $130,000 for CHIPS this year. I believe that's the number, don't hold me to it, but it's in that
It's
area.
in that neighborhood.
And we'd have to take into account out of that, the brand new snowplow payment. So that's $50,000 off the top. So that leaves us with about $80,000. And we were also told that the new pickup truck that the highway department needed could also come out of CHIPS. So if we even account for that.
We switched
Yep.
that to use the fifth person for the highway department that we're not hiring.
Yeah, no, understood.
So,
I'm just talking about the collaborative entire highway
Well,
fund.
I'm trying to leave the CHIPS money as much money as.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
your idea better.
Well, no, it's like a pool in a way. I'm just talking about,
It's a pile of money, but it's
So-
not very big.
no, it's not. I agree with you on that. I did quick math just right in front of me, the highway department with the last bank account statement that you guys got with the checking. When you account for, if we took 40 hours a week and we went to the end of the year, at about $17,000 a month in salary for the gentleman working out there. You take that out, you take the snow plow out, you take out the new pickup truck and everything, I mean, just to say right there is $277,873 left over. That's before chips, by the way. I'm just so you understand that the health. Now, if we went ahead and we funded $200,000 out of our own pocket to make those repairs, that number could be in trouble. I'm just pointing that out. So, because we have to pay out for the full project before we get our funds back. So just keep that in mind, is all I want to point out. Is that even if the price is still low, we're still going to struggle this year, and I think we all should remember that. This is not going to be a good year.
Well, now, to that point too, in order to be refunded or paid back, we have to complete the work, right? So it has to be something that we can complete the work. We can't just say, okay, we spent $115,000.
No.
We still need $50,000, and now we're in limbo. So we need to make sure that we have that money so we
And
don't get
it's-
stuck, and then we can't get reimbursed.
You know, and there's no guarantee you're going to get that money back in 2 weeks. It could take 2
Right.
months.
And that's on category A and B. The last report I had, category A, you were still finishing up. Category B, did you submit both of them now at this point?
Category B has been submitted.
Okay.
It's in its final review.
Okay.
Within 2 to 3 weeks, you should see the check.
And so so we can go off a gauge of that how long it's taken to get category B reimbursed to us, that it is gonna be a little bit of a lag anyway when we look at our accounts, right? I
It
mean,
looks like from, if the reimbursement comes the way that they told me it should,
Right.
it looks like about 2 months from the time we signed off on the work.
Yeah.
Till you see the money.
right, so that has to be taken into account.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying, is that these aren't 75% of it. We're fronting all of it. And we only have currently $500,000 in the highway fund, and we have to make sure that the boys' salaries are safe, that the plow truck is safe. And I mean, I know you've gotten your information, but there's a lot of very nervous supervisors in the county about chips right now. Many of them didn't even get their letter saying they were getting any this year. So that came up at the county board meeting. So I'm not saying it is, and I'm not going to say it isn't. I'd rather see it. That's always the safest way. But it would be phenomenal if that turns out true, because that was what the rolling trend was in the last couple of years, at least when I was clerk, was that you couldn't use CHIPS money on bridges.
Right.
If we're able to actually do that, that will save the day.
Well, it appears, like I said, he's gonna send that information back to me. He is under the impression that it will, but he didn't wanna give it.
And that's the only reason I brought up the pickup truck, was because if we had to swap in a way, or the pickup truck came out of CHIPS and we paid for the bridge repairs, you know, we'd have to make sure that we're following the rules correctly. So that's why I put that in there.
I should have an answer from him next week. He said give him a few days. I talked to him a couple of days ago, so I should have that information. Not necessarily if the CHIPS money's guaranteed, but
That we can use it.
available to use for
And that would be a big load off of our backs.
those projects.
So, all right, before you continue on, it's almost 7 o'clock and we haven't had any phone calls regarding the public hearing on the law. So why don't we get that out of the way and we can continue? Nobody called, so apparently the public is completely okay with that. So that being said, roll call vote. Can I have a motion to pass local law 1 of the year 2020, a local law to set the date for hearings before the Board of Assessment Review?
I'll make the motion.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we gotta do roll call. All in favor? Just say
Aye.
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 aye. No nays, the local law has passed. Public hearing is closed. Continue on, Larry.
All right,
Get it out of the way.
I don't know,
If the phone rings, now we can
Well, it's
ignore it.
usually not a good
That's
roll
just what
there,
it
too.
means.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, back to the pickup truck for a second. I talked with the dealer, and the best information they've got right now, the factories are gearing back up. The best information he's got is a month and a half to 2 months before we see the truck. He don't know exactly what order the factories are getting going in again, but he says they are all restarted, and the best guess he's got is a month and a half to 2 months before we see the truck.
So that's gonna bring up my point now with your mileage.
I was just about to bring that up myself.
So, the mileage, according to my calculations, we switched over $2,000 to reimburse Larry in hopes that you wouldn't go over. It has nothing to do with you driving, it's just figuring out the money now. So $2,000 was supposed to come out of fund balance to balance how much we were paying him. As in my calculation, we're over by $50.02 right now, so.
Yep.
And we look at a month and a half to 2 months now that we still need to keep reimbursing him for mileage. So, what are we doing about that?
I did not get to take a look at those vouchers, so would you consider what you drove in the last month your average?
Probably gonna be for the summer now, yeah.
Okay, would you mind taking a look at that, Joni, and tell me what it is so we can,
So it was $612.37.
okay, she's got the number,
But
never
the
mind.
mileage itself, I mean, you can figure out the
I
mileage
was
there,
gonna say, yeah,
or I could divide it up either way, but the
I
point
mean-
is, you're looking at $600 roughly a month of reimbursement in mileage, so that would be about $1,200 now we need to take out of fund balance for that, or
Yep.
do we have something
That
else?
was what was gonna ask him next, was about the pickup truck. I'm looking for his line right now so we can put it in there correctly. I can't remember you off the top of my head, I'm so sorry.
Oh, what?
Okay,
85?
10.4, okay.
Because he still needs to be
Yep.
reimbursed for his mileage all the way through until you get that new truck, but we need to make sure there's money in that fund that he
Yep.
can be reimbursed. So that $50, do we need to change out of fund balance now, or are we?
Well, we could just do one
Okay.
motion or resolution to move the money right now.
So my question is, when we paid this voucher, then it would pull the amount down, so we'd be in the negative $50, or how is
That
that?
voucher hasn't been paid yet.
Okay, so.
It's
we
been
need to-
approved, it hasn't been paid.
Okay, so we need to move.
We need to move.
So I would say
Does $1,200 sound appropriate to everybody, or?
I'd go 13, I don't wanna do this
I was gonna
again.
say,
I don't wanna
well,
keep,
this was from, February 2nd through April 4th, so it was, 1438.
That was
That was
That
the
was the big
original
one.
2 months worth.
That was
The winter.
first one. There was
Yeah.
one,
there was
We're
one,
talking roughly 700 miles a month.
I think it was around there, I think.
well, six,
No, I mean, this was, the amount.
Yeah, but it's,
there's another one in
That
there.
was,
There's another
that was
one
in.
in.
That was prepaid last month as that one's already been paid, the check stub's on it. We need the new one.
Okay.
That should be under the general. Or, yeah, you moved it over to the general, right? Because it should have, okay, yeah,
Okay.
because it comes out of the general.
When you divide it out, it's 1,064 miles, 1,065 miles is what you drove this past month, give or take-ish, so,
Okay, yeah, 612. $612.
I mean, we could do 1,300 to accommodate. Again, that money could be moved right back once the new truck comes in and we still have to also remember that the cell phone bill for the superintendent comes out and it may only be $16 a month, but we have to keep enough money in the account to pay that for the rest of the year. You know, and that's another 8 months, so we're talking $120, maybe.
You can turn it in if you want.
Huh?
I don't use it. You can turn it in if you
Do
want.
you use
I
your
don't
own,
care.
Larry?
Yeah.
Do you prefer using your own?
It's a lot easier because one, it's a smartphone, I take pictures with it, I can email with it,
Yeah, yeah.
I do everything.
How about this? The amount of money that the town's been paying for your cell phone, we'll shut that down and give it to him as a stipend towards his personal cell phone.
I got unlimited everything on mine, it don't matter.
That's up to you. I'll let you, okay. I don't want you to incur any costs using your own phone, so if it's, okay, I'm not gonna argue you not wanting to take money. It's my pleasure.
No,
He's
in
unlimited.
fact, I'll drop the phone on your desk next time.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
A man, not.
I know what the phone is, it's a clamshell thing still. No, I don't blame him.
It's all
Well, he's
money.
on
That's
that.
an antenna.
Yeah,
It was a nice gesture though, Heather.
I just wanted to make sure you weren't, increased costs or anything. Most of us have an unlimited plan these days anyway.
I have that, and it's just easier to use mine. I use it to take pictures of all of this stuff. I email all the time with it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Between the state and FEMA and everybody else.
good. I know, I use mine the same way,
It's just
so.
much more convenient to use my own, and I'm not worried about it.
Okay, well then, we will drop that off at my desk and we'll shut down that account.
All right?
That would be phenomenal. We won't have to worry about that bill anymore. So that being said, the amount of money you guys want to transfer from general fund balance over,
I'll offer 1,300.
any other discussion on
Well,
this?
to back it up a minute, okay, now, so roughly for the month of April, and the first week of May, he put on, 2,130 miles. Right?
No, that was February and March.
No, I just added it up here, it says from, April 5th to May 9th.
The bottom, it says total. You didn't add that in, did you?
Oh, oh, okay, I did. Sorry, Larry.
No, you wanna do that?
No.
I'll take you to cell phone.
I'm thinking, well, we're gonna take out more than $200.
No. I mean, if he's averaging about $650 a month, then $1,300.
Yeah,
Yep.
so,
I'll offer 1,300 to take out of fund balance for Fund 501.
Resolution to transfer.
Yeah, that holds.
A resolution to transfer $1,300, decrease fund balance by $1,300 and increase contractual line A5010.4 for highway superintendent by $1,300.
I'll second it.
All in.
don't say the whole thing here.
You offered, I just clarified what the offer was.
Ditto.
Okay.
Okay, ditto. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Resolution carried. All right, Larry, keep going. You-
Another, well, you make sure you spend money. Salt requirements. The deadline to put in the salt requirement for this coming winter is tomorrow, which I have to get done. We have been in the past, putting in for 300 pounds of salt, and we need to, when we put in an order for salt, we need to take 70% minimum of the order. And we can get up to 120% of the order before there's a price increase. On the 300-ton order that we put in, the requirement that we put in, the only town in Fulton County that orders less salt is Leaker. They order 220 tons. Towns around us, Town of Corona puts in a requirement of 550 ton, Town of Freda puts in 450 ton, Town of Oppenheim does 600 ton. Now, a few things with that. I know the board passed a resolution here a couple years.
The pledge to reduce salt, resolution 27-18.
Okay. There's,
Same
the
weapons in my house.
problem with that whole reducing the salt is we don't use enough to start with. That's why we get hard pack on roads all winter long. And
So we should be using more?
yeah.
Good.
Now, that would help to eliminate hard pack. I won't say it'd be gone all winter long. But when we have, especially on the county road, when we have hard pack from the first storm till it thaws, it's my opinion, it's unacceptable, and I think a lot of the other people around think it's unacceptable. Now, to go along with the 300 ton, I went through the vouchers from last fall, and what was delivered in September and November was 213, just over 213 tons. That amount of salt is what got put in the sand pile when it was stocked. And there was roughly 7,000 yards of sand brought in. For the amount of salt that you put in that sand pile, it didn't do anything. It didn't keep the sand pile from freezing. When it went on the road, there was not enough salt there to do anything on the road. So basically that 213 ton of salt was wasted. So I know that we're not going to be able to jump to 800 or 900 ton of salt like I'd like to, because one, we can't afford it, and two, it'll scare the heck out of people. But what I'm suggesting for this coming season, and I'll have a better handle on it after I get through next winter, of more exact numbers of what we used, of whether it was sand, salt, where we put it, the time we spent doing it, and have a better accounting of where the money went for it. But what I'm proposing to do is, instead of that 213, 250 ton going in the pile, we don't put anything in the pile when we put it up this fall. I'll get to our request number in a minute. We pile it up like we always do, keep the salt shed full of salt, so that when conditions are optimum for salt to work the best, is use the salt with the sand on those times. There's some times when we're better off just to put sand on. If it's 20 below zero, there isn't a whole lot of sense of putting salt out there. But days when salt is going to give us the biggest bang for our buck, those are times we'll mix in more salt with the sand to get the best result I think we can get out of it for the constraints we're under. Both money and that resolution that we got. So instead of having,
So in effect, instead of using salt all the time with the sand, that you're gonna pick and choose the moments that the salt's gonna be worth melting this artifact.
probably 85 to 90% of the time, there'll be salt in the sand, but it won't be, well, you took 2/3 of your salt this year and you put it in a mountain of sand, that the amount was so small it was not effective.
Right?
By mixing it as we use it, I'll be putting an amount of salt in a smaller amount of sand, basically. The amount that hits the road at any given time is going to be more than what it was, just because it's going to be in that sand. That 200 ton that went in that 7,000 yards, I mean, you can paw through it and find a kernel here and a kernel there. Yeah.
Is that same pile gonna hold without freezing solid though, without any salt in it?
For the amount that's in there, Alan, I would say it will. I mean, we had crust on it that was this thick last year, that, we had a mountain of it pushed off to the side. And I'm gonna say we're gonna be all right with it. I will keep watching it, and if it starts to look like it freezes, we'll just work it over.
Well, generally you get freeze from the top.
Yeah.
The rain.
Oh, yeah.
That gets,
Yeah, but we had the crust that formed on it last winter, it was, a couple feet thick.
Yeah.
Anyways, and the stuff that was under that, it didn't get much worse. Those chunks would fall off the top, and we would go there. But I don't think, for the amount of salt that was in that pile, I don't think we're gonna get any worse freezing without putting anything in it than what we got with what we had. What I'm asking to do, for the total, by the way, the total salt we bought here this past winter season was 321.74 ton.
It was about $20,000.
Yeah, $20,263.19.
We also have, just for reference, we have $55,000 in the snow contractual line. And included in the snow contractual line is repairs and other things. So that's what the board budgeted last year. So,
What I'm asking to do, I guess, is to put in the requirement for 350 ton, which would be an increase of $1,779.81.
and it's not too far off of what we overused anyway last year.
Yeah, we used 321, so
Out of-
it's basically 30 tons more than what we used last year.
And you know, I really like the idea of you keeping them separate, to be honest with you. I think that's actually a smarter option if it works out.
Well,
So-
I racked my brain, I don't sleep at night.
Welcome to the club.
I was trying to come up with something that, the first thing I want to do though is actually show people in this town that if we use salt sensibly, we get a good result. And we're not gonna hurt anything. I mean, I know when I mentioned it before, we talked about well on Pleasant Lake, the town of Caroga, which is all around lakes, they don't take care of any county roads out of the town of Caroga. They use 550 tons of salt a year. And there's all of their roads are
The what?
around lakes. You can get right down to it.
Oh,
There's no other roads in Caroga or state roads or county roads, and the county takes care of theirs, and they use all salt on their roads, and the state, of course, uses all salt on theirs. So that's just, something to think about. And then, the town of Caroga has 32 miles of road, and we take care of, with our county road, just over 56 miles of road that we take care of. Counting the 9 miles, well, 8.9 miles of county road. But that's what I'm suggesting that I put in for my salt requirement this season, which would be an increase, but I believe from what you said, will stay within the number that we talked about, correct? I won't have a problem ordering 350 tons of salt.
no, I don't, I think we'll be good because, you know, a lot of the snow, contractual, I think $2,000 isn't gonna break the bank on that.
Yeah.
And I don't even think for that little minimal amount, we're really even violating that resolution, because even if we set it 300, we're still we're ordering well into the February season, trying to inch out winter, you know, when these storms come. So if we order 350 tons and the piles are separated and you add more or less depending on the circumstances, it might actually end up where we end up using less because it's more effective. I don't know, but I think this is a good year to experiment and find out how it works.
I mean, I'm agreeing, I mean, I came from DOT and I haven't used an ounce of sand in the last 15 years. So,
Yeah.
This is taking me back to my youth here, when we used to use sand. But, and that's the other part of salt and sand that I still like to talk about. Because when we apply clear salt to the road, the general application rate is about 225 pounds per mile. Now, 225 pounds of salt, if you look at it, it's not quite a full wheelbarrow full of salt, is how much actual material you got, and you're spreading that over a mile of road. And so it's not a extensive amount of material. And on better conditions, and once that salt starts working, when we would try to keep that brine going and keep the road in good shape. Now we're cutting it back to like 110, 120 pounds of salt. And 120 pounds of salt is like 2 5-gallon buckets of salt.
So you're talking about where it comes out of the truck in the
On the
back?
back of the truck or the side of the truck.
Yeah, because sometimes when they were extending the roads, there'd be like these, I mean, like, it would look like a dirt road.
Mm-hmm,
And to me, that was like too much.
yeah.
I mean, come on, because I
But-
used to drive,
What you're saying is, I don't mean to interrupt, is that you can alter, by keeping the piles separate, you can alter that mixture.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And I gotta work with the guys too to get them to understand the way of doing business, but it'll come. And it's, the more salt you put on the road at a given time, the less total material you have to use, I guess is what I'm getting at. But that's, we'll have that discussion next summer.
You know, Larry, if you had come up and said 500 tons, I would have said I would not have been game for it. But I like your plan, and I think 350 is a good compromise just to start.
Well,
I really do.
It's a start, and we'll
See
see.
how you're
I
gonna
mean,
do with it.
and if we get halfway through the winter and we don't have anything left to buy, I'll let you know, and just keep track of the roads and see what the difference is. And, that'll help you guys make a decision next time.
Would that take care of the roads better too? As far as, them breaking up as much and stuff?
It won't necessarily help that part of it, but it will help, when we clean things up in the spring. There won't be as much
You
sand.
won't have that much sand like this.
There won't be as much, the ditches and the shoulders won't be getting built up as
Yeah,
much.
they're bad.
And I mean, we spent, it was like $18,000 on sand last winter. The pile of sand. I mean, we still got some left, but, I think the bill was right around $18,000 for the pile of sand that we had over there. So, I mean, it's a considerable amount of money. So we ought to try to get the best use out of it that we can. The other thing that I've got, which is starting to come up, and I had a conversation with a gentleman today, and I don't think he liked my answer, but it involves driveways, and I don't know if the town has any kind of policy on driveways and what we do with them, and what we don't do with them. But what I used to tell people when I worked for the DOT is the DOT needs drainage ditches alongside of their roads to drain the water down the roads. Get it away from the road, go wherever it has to go downstream. We have no need to get on the backside of that ditch. Property owners that are there have need to get across that ditch. So they need the pipes there. If it was up to me, there'd not be a pipe in any ditch along any of our roads because they don't do anything to cause us problems. They need a pipe to get across there. They are responsible for that pipe. That is their way to get to their property. It serves no purpose for the town or the state or the county or whoever owns the road. That pipe serves absolutely no purpose to us. So we're not in the driveway business, and we don't fix driveways.
You shouldn't have to.
Pardon me?
You shouldn't have to.
Yeah. Along with that, because the one that sticks out in my mind is a driveway pipe that got put in last summer by a property owner. If somebody needs to put in a driveway, we should have some process in place where they get a permit to do it. Now, there's several ways of working a permit, but what I would recommend for the permit for a driveway is one, the highway superintendent should look at the area to see if the ditches need to be cleaned before the driveway goes in, to make sure that pipe is going to work with the other pipes on both sides of it, so that we don't create a problem there. They also should know that the dragway pipe is actually going on a person's property. Because that's one of the other problems with the pipe that was put in over on Voorhees Road. The guy that put it in pulled one of the survey stakes for the neighbor's property because it was in the way of the pipe, which should not happen. And also, once the pipe gets put in, highway superintendent should look to make sure that it was put in properly and it's at the right elevation and it's going to work. And I mean, if you people want to set up a fee for it, or you want to set up a deal where they put a certain amount of money in to just start the process, and if everything's okay, they get 90% of it back after everything's all right, whatever. That ain't up to me, that's up to.
Mr. Albanese, do you have any experience with this?
Well, if you pass a law that requires a permit to do the driveway, I mean, the whole driveway, including the end, I believe there are regulations for that. I'll look and see what I can find.
Thank you.
But, you know, the town owns 12 rods from the center of the road, which is how many feet, Larry? I don't know, it's 36?
25.
25, something. I don't know the exact number of feet because the statute talks in rods.
Yeah.
And it's 12 rods from the center of the road. And outside of that, it's private property. You know, but if there are overhanging limbs, if there are branches in the way, you know, we've had a couple situations in Ephrata on corners where people have let their trees grow up too far, so when the plow goes around the corner, you know, it can't push the snow off the road because the trees are in the way. So, you know, I had the town supervisor write a letter, or excuse me, the town highway superintendent, write a letter and say, hey, look, this is within the town right away. If you don't cut them back, we're gonna have to come there and cut them back. And, you know, it was taken care of. So, you know, if it's within the 12 rods from the center line of the road, I think you're well within your jurisdiction to do what you need to do to fix it. But I tend to agree with you that when they're installed, they should be getting somebody's approval.
Yeah.
So that, you know, you're not, that pipe doesn't degrade the road because it's not installed properly.
That's what we've got, one of the ones that was put in recently. I mean, it's a foot higher than the ditch.
Yeah, I understand that. So, and listen, that's gonna be a problem for the property owner as well.
Yeah.
Water laying in there.
Yeah. But,
Well, how about this? In the next month or so, I'll work with you and Mr. Albanese and see if we
We'll
can
try to
pull something
contact the
together.
Association of Towns and see if they have some proposed legislation. You know, that applies to this dog ordinance too that you handed to me. I'm not trying to change the subject, but while we're talking about it, I understand what the dog warden's trying to do here, but I think there's a better way to do it if we find,
And she was supposed to be here tonight, so I apologize.
That's okay. What I'll do is I'll look for some statutes that address dangerous dogs as well.
Okay.
And then, Heather, I'll give them to you and you can send them around to everybody. Everybody can look at them. And then at the next meeting, we'll discuss them and see what you think.
Okay. Is that all for you, Larry?
one other.
Oh, Lord, you're killing me, Small.
This is quick. Well, I just had to learn this one today.
They're gonna take it, you just started. I was gonna say, the last time you were working for the city.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I was bored of my retirement. This ought to be fun. And then this little mess happened on Halloween, and here I am stuck in the middle of it.
You know, we had a head full of hair when we started.
I was gonna say, last time I saw him, he had a lot more hair.
Yeah. But anyway, we've got some areas that were washed out during the storm that we had blacktop washed away. And we had to put blacktop back. And I asked about what we do to roll blacktop when we put hot blacktop down. And generally, the contractor comes and pays as rolling. Well, okay, but when we do little patches like that, what do we do? And they said, well, we roll it with the truck because we don't have anything else. counts. Well, that isn't necessarily the way they're old blacktop.
It's the water.
I see that in your report. You said you will need to find a roller to use.
But I'm gonna check around with the neighboring towns and see if I can borrow a roller for a few days when we need it for this. If we can't borrow a roller, we'll have to rent one. I mean.
But this, because of the washout, 75% again is
Yeah,
reimbursable.
If we rent a roller, they will.
That's part of the
pay
cost.
Pay the rental fee, just like they did for the bulldozer or they will for the bulldozer.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
But, we're gonna need, if I can't borrow one somewhere, we're gonna need to rent one to do these blacktop patches that we need to do. All right, that's the end of it.
Well,
Let me just ask, can I just ask this? The property where you said the bridge washed out, and you said you want to change the direction of the road based on the fact the town owns the property there,
Voorhees, yes.
have we done a survey been done there?
The last survey that was done was when the property adjacent to the road was subdivided. And I talked to the surveyor that set the pins.
So the pins are there?
Yes.
Okay.
I talked to him and he didn't come right out and say that, yes, that was town property, but he says I had to have a really good reason to put that pin back where I did.
Do you know if they filed a survey in the county clerk's office?
I believe
Yes.
it is, because I
So
found
why
one.
don't you do me a favor, why don't you try to get a copy of that?
Yeah,
And then if you can get it to me, and then I'll look at it.
I can do that.
With what you want, if you could put what you want to do on that,
Yeah,
let me look it over.
yeah, I can do that.
Okay, just to make sure, I don't.
Right.
Yeah, because I sent you the email with all the survey information from
Yep.
Scott Hensy.
If you're gonna move the road, we want to make sure.
Yeah, we want to make sure we put it
Yeah.
on our
I
stuff.
agree.
Yeah, just kind of cut it off.
Step one.
Well,
Mary, I have a question.
Yeah.
Are the guys that put out in their 40 hours,
Monday,
Monday they are?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
they could have started tomorrow, but tomorrow is their
I
day
know,
off,
I
so.
know. Friday morning is the opening.
Yep, so, that being said, does anybody have an issue with him increasing the salt?
No, yes, no, well, I have just a
I mean, the
couple questions,
resolution does state pledge to reduce salt, but in earnest, I think that's a little bit objectively. And if we keep the piles separate, I think we're maintaining with the spirit that we're not throwing it all on the road at once. And you'll monitor it and be able to tell us if it's getting extremely out of hand. I mean, that's up to the board to figure out down the road. But I think at the moment, doing a motion to allow him to increase the salt order is not out of line with what the resolution. We're staying with the intent of the order, which is to not drown the roads in salt. And we're consistently, I think this is 2 years now in a row, we've gone over what we anticipated use anyway. So we're still going over. So why don't we just accommodate that right now?
I'll make a motion, do you need a lot of numbers in it?
I do. I need you to
And I'll
say this
second.
whole thing.
Say the whole motion.
Make a motion to,
I'll make a motion that we increase the salt intake for the town of Stratford to 350.
And I'll second that motion.
all in favor? Aye. No opposed?
Oh, I have another question.
Okay, now I'm gonna do this one more time. Okay, you're asking a question, I'm
Well,
sorry.
I was gonna ask you, are you gonna have the sand hauled in? Or are you gonna have,
I gotta get prices on it
okay,
and
to
see
see what's cheaper or
Yeah.
what's, because our trucks are not in the best shape?
whatever's gonna be cheaper in the long run
Right,
is the way I want to do it.
okay.
Did you look into putting up the old snow plow truck on auctions?
Yes, I gotta get that done, and I gotta get the pickup truck cleaned out, so I can get pictures of both of them done. And, I got a little excited the other day, because I got a thing from Auctions International, that said Town Stratford on an envelope, held it up, and it said Town Stratford, and had, 500 or 5,000 some odd dollars.
Stafford, yeah, we get that screw up a lot.
Turns out they sold a bunch of stuff, we got the check. So, I gotta call them.
Cash it, right?
Made a mistake. It came to town Stratford and it was addressed there.
Yeah.
When you get inside of it, it's for the town of Stafford. They're all like.
Wouldn't be the first time, I can tell you that.
So just a quick question, I know we're gonna try to sell the plow blade and the pickup truck too, is that gonna go up on a bid?
I would send the whole thing together.
The whole thing,
One big
okay,
unit, plow, truck,
okay.
all the rust that goes with the boat.
Yeah, it looks like that
no, I
plow
didn't
that we used
use
for
people
the
like us,
just
so-
beat up in the front, it's all rusted, I can tell it tonight. They did a good
But,
job on it through the
I
years, I tell you.
gotta get some pictures took,
Okay.
and I'll send them to you, and I email it to you, correct? And, I'll, see what I gotta do for the large truck. I don't know, I gotta get hold of that Auctions International and see what we have to do for that, but, we might as well get that up also. It's out of inspection now anyway, and I don't see spending money to get it inspected and fixed and all of that, because we put enough money into that truck.
And that will cue on this one. For this, then, we don't need to rescind. You can
I
feel
don't
that's
think,
okay?
I think we're still with the spirit of what it's asking us to do.
Okay. All right, on that one. And then for the trucks, so you did have a new one delivered, correct?
The plow truck,
Did you?
large truck,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So this is just throwing this out there for you to be thinking about as I'm thinking of it. You can tell me your thoughts on this. I would propose eventually to be looking down the road that every 3 years we start changing out the truck so that we don't end up with
I'm in complete agreement.
start. So at this point, the new one, for example, in 9 years, we would be looking to trade out. Whoever's the next one out would be in 3 years, the following one would be 6 years, so then there's always that rotation, so we're not having a really old vehicle.
If we can get to 9 years, that would be excellent.
Okay, so,
If we set aside $50,000 a year.
right,
You would be at 5 years roughly.
Yeah.
Every 5 years you could do it, which would put your trucks at 15 years old to get
Right.
three up.
right,
9 years, great, but now you're gonna go from setting aside 50,000 to probably setting aside closer to 65,000.
okay,
But I do believe that would be the prudent thing to do, just because if we go back through the last 2 years and look at the money we've spent
right,
on these old trucks to try to get another year or 2 years out of them. If we set that, it's crazy.
yes. And so that's why I just want to put that out there now in the minutes, maybe we can start looking at that. I know with the times that we're in, it's, not on the forefront, but just to be thinking now with this truck as the first example, in 9 years, hopefully that truck will be changed out with the other two in 3, 6, whatever.
Because you got, your next oldest truck is a 2007, it's already 13 years old.
Right, so hopefully we get on that path, so then we're not ending up with 2 or 3 at a time, and down to 1 at one point we had this year, I think, because
It's a
things
good
were
idea
right
if
there.
we're financially set to do it.
Yeah, I honestly, I can't predict the financial climate.
Keep doing that.
I think the best way to do this is every year, I think we should set at the AUD to see where the balances are between the highway fund and the general fund, and at the moment, I don't utilize the highway savings account, as you see. I feel that if money's coming in and money's coming out, it should stay strictly checking, and if we're going to use the savings, the money should be put in there, not touched. So, but I won't have a good picture of how much we can set aside until next year. Right now, I don't think we can commit to anything.
And it's not even committing to it, it's just to have
Yeah.
an idea in mind.
And I
that-
think the AUD next year would be a good starting point to see where the health of the town is. And I mean, even if we're only able to do 15, 15's better than nothing.
Right,
Anything you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we need to go through the task of opening a capital reserve fund in the Adirondacks. From what I understand, it's a nightmare. Number 2, a savings account is just as easy. And honestly, once the money goes into a capital reserve, on one hand, it's great. You can't touch it unless it's for the intended thing you want to buy. But on the other hand, if we financially have a cyclone of events in 1 year, we won't be able to access that money. We could have $150,000 to $200,000 waiting in there we need right now. We won't be able to touch it. Which, again, it's good we won't be able to touch it in one side, but it's bad if something really awful happens. So I think a general savings account and moving money over yearly with the AUD, once we know how much you know, by the time our AUD is completed, we usually know or have a roundabout chips. So we know what's coming in, we know what we've already spent, we'll know how the snow season's gonna be with your new system that you plan on implementing. So I think it's a good idea, but, and I would even say if we didn't have, you know, coronavirus hitting the shelves everywhere, that we could start looking at it right now, but right now I'm afraid to touch anything,
Right,
to be
I would
honest with
still
you.
like it to be noted
Yep.
that in 9 years as well, that this truck, if we go to trade it in, and it is a 2020 model, and 2027, it's gonna be worth more than it would be in 2035. And just logically, so, you know, as far as getting on that rotation too, your trade-in value, you may end up saving money on that long run. So I do just wanna note that, like I said, I realize the times, but I do wanna make sure that's a note that in a couple of years, we start looking at that, or a year when the AUD comes out, so. All right.
Okay. Before we go any further,
Yeah. This is on them too, this is the water thing.
oh, okay, continue.
Sorry, Larry, got a lot of stuff here under your name, everybody else would have at it. The water is coming, not from Campione, it's coming from some other.
Thank you for reminding me.
Supplier that is,
Crystal Rock.
yeah,
I told somebody we're
Crystal Rock, did you work out anything?
canceling them, or what are we doing?
Well, that's what I was asking. Could you look for a different provider? I asked you about a month or two ago, because the problem is that, let's say they deliver, on the 8th and we have our meeting the 10th. Then I get the bill and I'm trying to explain to them that this is not a prepaid bill. The board has to approve it. So you're not going to get your money for 6 weeks. Can we change the delivery dates or the due dates? I'm just trying to work with this company. And they said, nope, we can't do anything. And they keep putting late fees on the bill because we're not paying it.
can we do
Did
it
you
as a
sign a
prepaid?
contract?
Nope.
Then you don't have to pay the late fees.
Well, no, and I won't either.
No.
I
Law
won't.
says that you have to sign to be charged interest. That's
Well-
why these companies who just charge interest and think that they can get away with that, they have to have a signed document that says you agree to be charged interest if your bill is
Note to
late.
self.
So put all the late fees you want on there and try to sue me.
Well, he said that the water system, most likely we own that.
As far as I can tell.
Yeah, I don't think that that's from Campion, or we're not gonna have to give it back, so we could potentially just buy it locally.
Yeah.
And exchange the containers down at Big M.
We do that, I mean, I've been watching the water, and we don't go through that often, much of it. And when, you know, we get 3, 4 empty jugs, we just go like to the Big M or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then we just do it that way.
Why not?
As we would have to do the initial purchase of the jugs, by the way. But once we own those jugs, we can go in and you won't have, you know, exchange, it'll be cheap to exchange them once we do it that way. But I just wanted to see if you had worked on anything with that. It's small, but Crystal Rock is a pain in my butt.
Well, we fire, I don't have a problem firing people, like that.
Well, I'm not gonna stop your water supply without you knowing it, Larry. Okay, are we finished with highway?
Yes.
No, don't you dare.
While we had a long conversation about the Paseco Road Bridge, and I should be getting quotes and stuff here within the next week or so, are we gonna be all right to proceed there, or what's the story?
Paseco Road for 70 to 75,000?
Correct.
I think we're safe to go ahead with that project, but if you do another big project coinciding with it, like Voorhees, that's something I think we should really discuss. Because again, that's a big chunk out of the budget.
Those are still in discussions, this one is gonna be ready to go.
Is it, have the bids come in?
I should have them next week.
All right, once they come in, you gotta bring them in here, and then the town board has to look at it.
The outfit that's.
They're
going to do it
piggybacking.
Is on Fulton County's contract.
Yeah.
I'm hired on Fulton County's contract.
Okay, that's all right, but you still have to bring the bid in here, and the board still has to award it.
Okay.
All right? There'll
Perfect.
be a contract that they'll send along with that I'll look at, and Heather eventually will sign.
I heard it.
And you'll look it over too, Larry, because I don't know, the mechanics of the deal, I just get the language.
Yep.
Thank you.
Norm, you're up. Thank you, Larry.
And another thing, Larry, the roads were very good this year, but they didn't have that ripple effect to it, whether it was, maybe it was the mixture of the stuff or
Well,
the fixing the trucks, tweaking them a little, or making the guys
we
slow
made some
down.
adjustments to the plow.
Lorraine,
Okay.
do you want me to close the windows?
This summer
Yeah, my
season,
feet were cold.
I know we should rebuild them on the ones that are really loose.
Yeah.
And it should get better.
But
And
no,
the more we can scrape off the road, the better off we are.
everybody, yeah, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good, everybody's.
Well, their windows need some honesty to go up better. Yeah.
All right, Norm.
Thank you, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
You're a good man. Good job.
Not many
Don't
people
put your
see.
feet up.
Well, we said it. I'll say it proudly. I don't care who says it, who hears it, or anything like that.
Need a spotlight now.
Go ahead.
Okay, go on.
I issued one building permit, it was just a renewal. The guy wanted to pour some concrete Friday, so, you know, he didn't have to come in the office or nothing. I just had to, well, I brought it to him and did an inspection at the same time. And I did 2 inspections this month, that's all. That's all we did. Should we talk about this other thing?
Yes,
now?
go ahead.
I'd like to move on this.
Why don't you
we'll
give
have
that
ask the
over
attorney.
to Mr. Albanese and have him take a look at it so he knows what you're talking about?
Hi, Norm, I'm Mike Alves, nice to meet you.
Yeah, this is what went through court, and we never did nothing with it, so I want to proceed. I know we've got to go to county court, we can't do it here, I know that, but what I'm after is on the second offense, who does the total on the fines, and I don't want to put a lien on the property, so whatever we got to do with that, what it kind of costs.
Yeah, I'll have to take this and look at it,
Yeah.
because normally the court would find it.
Well,
Whereas the,
we had some issues with that particular judge.
So I told we had to go to county for an eviction, we couldn't do it.
yeah, no, you can't. I'll have to look at that.
That's all right, I can get it rolled, I know it's gonna take time
Yeah.
to get a court appearance and all that.
Yeah, well, the courts just are opening on Monday, so,
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes from there.
And
So-
I'll talk to you later about tickets and stuff. you know,
Okay.
and stuff.
Not a problem. I thought Heather was gonna give you my phone number.
Yes, and I did tell him that. We just
Okay.
discussed that. I said, hopefully he has some business cards I can hand out.
We'll discuss whatever you need to talk about. Okay?
Okay, very good.
We'll move on to,
Wait a second, so I'm new, what is this? What am I looking at right now? You'd like to go to court for this and pursue it? Is that what's happening right now?
for anybody listening, it's a,
I in this thing, so I can't hear you.
So you'd like to pursue this now, this case from 2018? Is that what you're presenting to us?
Well, we
right now?
did, so you take time to get, you know, to get a court appearance, all that kind of stuff, but I just wanted to get it rolling, but I don't know what it's gonna cost, because we, you know, it's a procedure, that's the reason I wanted to bring it up in front of the board to see
Okay.
if everybody's
Okay,
on board, or
proceeding
you gotta
with
wait
it.
to see what it's gonna cost first, or.
Okay,
I think we should first wait and see what
Yeah.
Mr. Albanese has to say
Yeah,
about the situation before we move on anything.
so that's what I'm looking at then?
Yes,
Just
that
pursuing
particular
it.
property,
Okay.
That's an ongoing problem there.
ongoing problem that,
That we just can't get heads or tails on.
so there was a judgment put on the property.
And that's, yeah, okay.
So now it's just seeing about making sure it follows through, apparently, to see what our options are to follow through with the order.
Okay.
So, Karen Jakeway's report, dog control. She issued appearance tickets. She took 4 witness statements and wrote 2 DCO depositions. She searched for 2 lost dogs and spoke to 3 people about the disappearance of above dogs. Posted on the internet information about the lost dogs. Made and took a multitude of calls on the 2 huskies running at large and the damage they caused. Looked at town law and wrote, in addition to what we have in place, a dangerous dog clause. This was to clarify what constitutes a dangerous dog and the actions to be taken by this law. And the rest of the month was quiet. To make a long story short, while somebody was not at their home, their significant other was watching their 2 huskies and decided they didn't want to do it anymore. Let the dogs loose. The dogs in turn attacked somebody's chickens and killed them. They didn't want the dogs, so then they dropped them off to somebody else and then...
Gave them away.
Yep.
She gave them away.
She said, that's it, I don't want them. And then that person who took them said, I don't want them, and gave them away to somebody else. And then when Karen figured out this chain of events and went to that person said, they advertised them on Facebook.
Yeah.
And when she got down there, they said, we don't have the dogs anymore, we don't know where they went. So now she's in desperate search because the lady didn't own the dogs. It was her significant other's dogs. Even if he's not at the house, she took responsibility for those animals and then proceeded to...
Well, she ruined the house too.
So there's been a lot of issues with that. And I know Karen's been frustrated with that situation just because we don't know where the dogs are. I mean, they did destroy, they did kill chickens on somebody's property. They were running at large. And this person is directly to fault for this, so...
But she's not in the area anymore.
So, no, I don't believe she's in the area. There's a lot of speculation on where she is or isn't. But point being is that if we find the dogs, we know who to bring them to or have pick them up. The owner specified. He said, no, I didn't give my dogs away.
No, Jimmy didn't give them away.
So, we are attempting to mitigate.
3 dogs too.
Yeah, and
Beautiful.
so if anybody sees a pair of huskies in the area, feel free to call Karen.
Brown and white.
Because we're trying to get our hands back on those dogs. Mike Secura, BTI, he received the 20 extra gallons of pesticide and he's continuing to monitor and treat our assigned creeks, and many were loaded with larvae. We could probably feel it as the weather's getting nicer. I know they're all in my face. Oh, it's terrible.
No, there was a frost last night, right? That's right. And they're out today.
All assigned creeks have been treated once so far. He seems generally happy with the new BTI personnel, so that seems pretty good. Judge Rismeyer's report, obviously the court is shut down and it's a big fat 0. So.
Yeah, I just thought about the eviction. Evictions are off until I think it's August 20th. I started watching a seminar that supposedly was only an hour at lunchtime, and at 1:15 I shut it off, and there was still an hour to go.
Oh, no.
I was in the middle of it,
Yeah.
and it said that everything, no evictions until August 20th.
So she'll be safe.
But, I mean, in the meantime, you can still look into
Well, no,
after
this is the
that.
Yeah, but this is the problem. This seminar dealt with, how do you start it? Because when you go to evict somebody, there are time frames. And the time frames are to serve it, to get it into court. And if you don't follow those time frames, it gets dismissed. So that's why they're having this seminar, because the problem is, even though it says you can start your eviction proceedings, you can't go to the court. I'm wrong. You can go to the court, you can get your warrant of eviction, but the governor's last executive order has told the sheriffs they can't evict anybody until August 20th. So I'll have to finish watching that seminar and I'll see what I can do, but it looks like I would say right now off the top of my head that until August 20th, you aren't even going to be able to start a proceeding.
Okay.
Because that would be the earliest date that you can get, because that's what happens. When you evict somebody, you get a warning of eviction from the court that you give to the sheriff, and the people get served with it. And when they get served, if they're not out, they change the time frames. It used to be 72 hours. I don't think it's 72 hours anymore. I think it's a week. But if you get served with that warrant of eviction, and you're not out within that certain time frame, the sheriff comes, tells you to get out, and then the landlord has to hire somebody and move everything out. And you can't go back there anymore. You go back there, you can be arrested for trespassing. So that's how eviction works. And so that's why you need to be able to go to the sheriff, okay, to effectuate, the power to remove the person from the premises. The sheriff is the only person with the power to do that. And that costs money. I think now it's $175. Okay, so I'll look into that and I'll let you know.
I'm missing something in my pile. Going back to, it got strangled into the end, I'm sorry. Going back to Norm, since you were talking. Everybody got the municipal complaint regarding the Bear property. And personally, I gave you all the follow-up from previous supervisor back in 2018 regarding the complaints. She followed up with him. We've had the APA out regarding this property. It's an ongoing issue. Like we told you, we're a fun town. But this particular complaint, I take particular grievance with because it wasn't about the nature of the property. It became a very personal attack on this family. The house has not been lived in 5 months, and obviously, Norm should work with Mr. Albanese regarding making sure that if tickets need to be written, they're done correctly so they don't get thrown out. If there are violations, but that's the extent that I'm willing to go on this complaint because I'm not happy with
What's the
it.
complaint?
Would you read it?
I'm happy to read it out loud. I'm happy.
Oh, it's all right. Go ahead.
I can't read the bottom line if you don't mind reading
Is
that
that the
for
one
me.
from Zoe?
Yes.
Yes, it just says the property is disgusting, eyesore, and drops the value of the nearby properties.
Not very
Nearby.
educated.
Okay,
Educated?
okay.
It's not accurate
Yeah, but
either.
another man's junk is somebody else's antique.
That's right.
I got a lot of people's junk in my house that my wife considers antiques. Right?
Right?
Yeah, but you haven't seen this place.
No, listen, I've seen some bad ones. We
Okay.
got one in Ephrata that's bad. Listen, what it comes down to is what I said when you talked to me initially. How far does the town want to go? And how much money does the town want to put in it? The town, yeah, I can eventually get you on the property
Money.
to tear it down. But the question is the town has to pay for all that. And so, and good luck getting it back from the property owner.
I think if, personally, knowing what's going on with the property from what the owners divulged, that it should be checked for safety. But otherwise, I'm not really sure. The creek's been checked. If there are ticketable offenses that he hasn't, I believe there still might be an outstanding ticket in our court right now.
Probably is. But this all goes back to this guy right here.
Yes.
He had a lot of trouble
Yeah.
a few years ago with the town. And now he's just trying to bring something up someplace else to keep things going, that's all.
Yep. And personally, I'm not, I got this complaint over 2 weeks ago, and I said, you know what, it's not even worth notifying you guys right now. We'll wait till the meeting, because nothing's going to change. And personally, I told Norm, if there's a safety issue, we need to address that. We don't want people.
That's different, yeah.
Yeah, if we don't want people inside the structure if there's an actual safety issue. So, Norm stated that Dr. Glenn, our health officer, is the one that gets involved there.
But they say nobody lives there now?
Nobody lives there right now.
No, they moved.
They moved because I was told that there was a problem
Yeah.
with part of the structure. I don't know how big the problem is, whether it's a minor or humongous.
You
But,
have a law about junkyards?
yes, we do. Do we not?
I think we should.
Junkyard ordinance we have? Junkyard ordinance,
We do, don't we?
yes.
Yeah.
Do you have a dangerous building ordinance,
I believe we just follow
state code?
the state codes for dangerous buildings. They don't live far away, it's just getting access to the property and going through the right channels to make sure that it's been inspected. You know, if it's minor issues that they just couldn't afford to repair and decided for the winter to move out, and it's not posing a danger to people going in and out of the structure, I don't think the town should have to act on that, obviously. But if there is an actual structural integrity issue with the property, we do know this family has children, and I know I wouldn't want that on my conscience.
You got Lisa's letter here?
Yes, just so you know that this is, you know, just to remind you, you know, with the exception of Tiffany, you all were around for this, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got it.
Oh, I was gonna say,
I just wanted, quick reminder of,
Lisa's is right behind.
right.
and the APA,
Yep.
because we've actually been reported to the State Department for this property. So, nothing.
But this has been another ongoing problem for the last 38 years too. With the same, you know, maybe the families have grown, you know, parents have passed, now the children taking over the house.
The acorn doesn't fall far.
No.
Generational.
That's just about what, it's been like there since I've been up here for the past 40 years. So it's like, you know, the place really hasn't changed much.
And
But
that,
I like the people, I mean, the kids are marvelous on the bus, so I can't really, I don't like it when they dig them out like that, you know, have the wife.
Listen, like I said, it's all a question of how, you know, some people choose to live like that, some don't. If it's a violation of the ordinance, you know, here's what happens, and what most people don't understand, is, it's, in my opinion, you can't put somebody in jail for that. You know, I know courts around here who've been doing that, and I don't think, and the lawyers who represent these people should be challenging that, because I don't think you can be put in jail for that. You can only be fined, that's the problem. Or the town has to take over the property as a dangerous building.
And if-
Those are the town's only two options. You know, we had a situation in Ephrata where the woman, you know, the judge gave the woman a $5,000 fine. She lives in a house she can't even pay for. How's she gonna pay a $5,000 fine? She tried to pay it as she went along, she never ended up paying it, and they wanted, you can't put her in jail. I'm not gonna do that, the law says you can't do that. So, that's where you end up with the town having to condemn it as a dangerous building, and take it down at your expense, put it on the tax roll, and then when they don't pay it again, you own it. And then sell it for what you can get out of it, pennies on the dollar, probably. Listen, I'm just,
no,
there's no easy solution to these problems, and like I said when you interviewed me, you're not the only town that suffers from this issue. And cities, it affects even more, because houses are closer together in cities, and people can't afford to take care of them, so it's becoming even a bigger problem in cities. And now with people being out of work and not being able to be employed, you know, what's gonna happen with that? So I understand your frustration. I'll do what I can with the code enforcement officer, but, you know, a lot of times the results are not, let's put it this way, the neighbors aren't gonna be happy. I got a lot of unhappy neighbors who, for a while, were coming to the meeting in Ephrata complaining about all those cars you see, you know, by the old firehouse there, down by the ice cream place, okay? People have been complaining about that. But like I said, unless that building is dangerous, you know, the town can go in there, remove all those cars, you're gonna have to store them and keep track of them. You know, so what's happened is, but, you know, I've been the town attorney there probably over 20 years, 25 years, and that thing has been there probably 15 of them. And I've been trying the whole time I've been there to clean it up, but it always comes back to the same thing. No, we're not gonna pay for that. Well, I'm done, there's nothing more I can do. So,
Well, and I think back to this too, you know, there's a couple other places in town that have been just like this for as long as I've been in Stratford, and it's the same, that's how they live, like he said, you know, generation after generation. And the kids, when you get the school involved, no, the kids are healthy, they're fed, they come to school clean.
They do.
They're fine, so
Their kids are
there's
fine.
nothing you're gonna do about that. If they wanna live like that and have a junkyard around, you
so
know,
I just had
that's
a
up to them.
3-day trial. The 3 dogs were left in this place for 3 days with no food, no water, nobody to let them out. Imagine what that place looked like. And not only that, they don't wash their dishes, they don't mop the floor, and they had a 5-week-old baby that they were putting on the floor.
Oh,
No, I just, when you see this stuff, it's, look, you know, and I just got threatened. The guy said he's gonna kick my ass. And I said, what's he gonna send his wife? But it's, you know, he didn't like that I said that. I said that was my closing argument. I said, let's start with 3 dogs with nobody to take care of them for 3 days. Who does that?
right.
With a 5-week-old baby that everybody knows, a 5-week-old baby is supposed to be kept under immaculate circumstances, clean circumstances.
Not be on the floor.
Well, they didn't feed it. The baby lost 10 ounces in 5 days.
Okay, you gotta stop talking about that right now.
No, I just had a 3-day period.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, so,
Larry seen me fight. I like to fight, I told you.
He's got a husky.
I'm okay, but I have a tender heart for children, so it's,
okay, well, we can't do anything.
you know what, I'm not, if the board would like me to respond and be diplomatic, I'm okay with that, with a couple of things that the lawyers mentioned, but otherwise, I don't even know if I want to respond to it. Because he's put in complaint after complaint after complaint.
Yeah.
He's acting as if the town has never responded to him.
Well, we
So many times, he can be given the same answer 30 times, and because he doesn't like the answer, he still wants you know, he's gonna keep complaining.
Tell him to
So,
move.
Maybe the thing to do is send one paragraph that says, here's the letter the last supervisor sent. Nothing's changed since then, but if it does, we'll let you know.
that's what I had considered, and that's why I added it.
He didn't answer his letter. He answered his letter. Not only that, he answered it, showed him, look, it's not like the town hasn't done anything. Here's the letters the town has sent.
And I don't think he should know every move that the town makes on the property either, you
Well,
know?
some people just like, listen, people like that, you aren't gonna satisfy.
So, and that's it, is that I'm not gonna waste my time trying to give a nice answer to somebody who's not gonna
I
listen.
hauled water with a fire truck for over 2 years to fill a black pipe about this big around on the left side of his place. You know, so he can have water, so he can use it for this, for that, and whatever.
Yeah.
That was getting started.
But yeah, I mean, you got the letters right.
He's
there.
already been responded to.
You know, yeah,
No, and that's a pretty comprehensive letter that was sent. It addressed his issues.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean.
And I don't think there's anything that's really much changed besides them not living there. And we'll address that, like I said, you know, but that's between us and the property owner, not this person. So I just wanted you guys to be aware of the letter and, you know, up to date.
There are tickets pending in the town court. Let me know, and I'll call the judge and try to get them taken care of.
Well, I know the court's shut down right now,
Well,
hopefully
no, the courts are,
they're
and you
opening.
know, I didn't look to see whether on Monday they're gonna open or not. You know, Judge McCall told us that on Monday, they've all been told they have to report to the courthouse.
Okay.
You know, none of them have been at the courthouse. We conducted this hearing, he was in his house. And it was all done by Skype. And so, but on Monday, they've all been told to report to the court. There was a directive sent around on Wednesday by the chief administrative judge that I haven't had a chance to read that tells what courts are going to be. I mean, I think it's all of the courts, in all of the counties that have been designated, and we're one of the counties that have been
Yes.
designated for reopening on Monday.
Okay, good. I will definitely get you the judge's number. I'll send all that information over to you.
Yeah, you just email it.
Yep. Diana, do you have anything to report?
Yes, tomorrow is the last day of our tax season finally, so I will be going to the county next week Also, the primary election in Fulton County is on June 23rd. It'll be from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. and it's a Democratic primary election.
What was the date?
June 23rd.
23rd,
A Democratic.
6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
Okay.
And as of right now, they're allowed to come here, right? It is not just by mail-in ballot or anything like that,
No.
but it still will be here.
Thank you for your quarterly report, by the way. Does anybody have any questions for Diana?
Good job, Diane.
Okay, on to mine. Hopefully the meeting will go a little bit faster at this point. I need a beer. Just continuing the COVID-19 response measures, at the April 9th meeting, it was decided, sorry, I had to cross out the word that shouldn't have been there in my report because it'll drive me insane. It was decided to continue the actions stated within our local state of emergency that we declared back in March. Continue those actions through resolution rather than extending the local state of emergency because that would have had to have been pre-approved by the state. The town hall has been mostly closed to the public, although the town clerk can conduct business face-to-face if it's necessary, with restrictions, obviously. Our cleaner, Emma, has sanitized the tables and chairs within the town hall before and after every meeting held here. I've been open at least once a week, usually twice, to allow our residents to come pick up sanitizer and face masks free of charge. I think this has been successful, and I've given away at least 60 masks and approximately 3 gallons of sanitizer to the public in the exchange system and the little bottles. People have been coming in regularly at this point. And I'll continue this program until the supplies run out. Fulton County was notified that phase 1 of the reopening will commence on May 15th. Applying only to certain businesses, and that does not include us, unfortunately. Administrative jobs like Diana and the code enforcement officer, they're going to be included in the phase 2 reopening with the tentative date of June 1st if all requirements are met. And the board should consider a reopening plan either at this meeting or a future meeting, and honestly, I think it's way too much to try to do tonight.
Not only that, it could get extended.
Exactly, we could set up all the margins and the policies, but until the state gives us the go-ahead, we can't do anything with them. So I don't think we should rush into make decisions tonight. I think we should all take time to write notes and compare and possibly put something together and maybe do a special meeting when the time comes around.
Not only that, keep an eye on what the county's doing.
Yes, and I have been in close contact. I actually included a printout in here from the county, an information release from our administrative officer for the county. So we should consider that, and I just wanted to thank the board members. Back in 2018, I asked permission to open that Facebook page for the town, and I know a lot of people probably thought, crazy technology, people aren't going to look at it, but now we're up to almost 200 members, and I think it's been really vital to getting information out. I'm consistently getting 5 to 10 people added. The more imperative it is to get information out, the quicker the members come rolling in. So I just wanted to say thank you for that, because it's made getting the information to the public a lot easier, because sometimes it can take days for our town website to be updated. So at least now people have instant access. When I have the information, I put it out. At the April 30th special meeting, John Ploss was appointed to the Board of Assessment Review to finish out Peg Clagey's original term. Sue Fergity, the chairperson of the bar, requested that instead of holding the bar exclusively by teleconference on May 29th, she would like to open it up for people to attend in person if they feel comfortable with it. And I couldn't give her an answer for that. I couldn't. It was put out by legal notification by our assessor. It's teleconference only. So,
That's what it should be.
and that's what I wanted to discuss with you because of the legal notice.
That's what the notice said, that's what you gotta stick with.
Okay, I didn't,
People won't know, people will presume it's teleconference.
yes. I didn't know if that was something we could put out saying if it's an option, but they had to contact, and I said, that's a lot of work to change now in the game.
It's better just, and not only that, given what's going on.
Yeah.
It's much safer.
Right.
I can tell.
So I just wanted to let you know that that request was made. Obviously, the complaint about the Abear property, we just discussed. I gave you guys a copy, either via email or printout for those who couldn't get it to print, to come up on their computers. The NISAC May 2020 lost revenue and state aid cuts coronavirus economic impact on counties. It's a nice thick 18 pages of we're in trouble. I hate to put it that way, but please review that. I mean, just to put it in perspective, a 10% decrease from approximately $400,000 we received last year could mean $40,000 drop. And I mean, I don't even think it's going to be that mild. It could be much worse, depending on how the reopening goes.
State aid for the school is really super bad, so
Yeah.
I think ours is gonna be, come on, people.
I'm just giving you $40,000 is already a lot, and that's a mild scenario. I had projected when this first started to look at about $60,000 to $80,000 in sales tax revenue we're going to lose this year. So at least you are aware, and please read it. And I've also presented, I mean, it's minimal, but I think we got to start somewhere. And I proposed a resolution for the cost-saving initiative for this fiscal year. Due to the, whereas the Stratford Town Board recognizes and acknowledges that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, that our county and therefore our community will receive a substantially decreased amount in sales tax revenue for fiscal year 2020 from businesses shut down and layoffs. And whereas being fully apprised of the financial impact of the COVID-19 pandemic upon our community, our county, and our state, the Stratford Town Board understands that certain budgetary amendments need to be made to contain those losses to our township. Therefore, the Stratford Town Board hereby implements the following cost-saving measures to fiscal year 2020 budget and town officials. A, all town officials who utilize a contractual budget line will now need prior approval from the Stratford Town Board for purchases exceeding $50 or vouchers in total exceeding $100. For emergency purchases exceeding these amounts prior to the next board meeting, the town official must notify the town supervisor of the immediate need, and the supervisor will notify the board members for verbal approval ahead of time. Any vouchers submitted that do not adhere to these guidelines are subject to being denied. B, the contractual lines listed below are hereby suspended from the 2020 fiscal budget. A 7510.41, historian contractual 300. The contractual line for the historian is actually $500. The board promised her $200 for that scanner. I don't believe she's purchased it yet. I think we could roll back on that promise if she's not purchased it.
You have the check on Oh, you got to check with her, see if she purchased it.
So if that's something you want me to check on, I just did it the safe, $300, because she had a maximum of $200 to use.
Right.
So if she hasn't purchased it, I can change that resolution right now to state $500 under the, unless she's already purchased the scanner, in which any money beyond the scanner would be suspended.
I'd say leave it as it is.
Okay, and at the end of the year, if she hasn't used it, it's even more money. But I wanted to be safe with that because I haven't been able to get in contact with her. Line A7310.4, youth program contractual 300, that's for the Christmas party we hold every year. Sorry, seniors. Unfortunately, it's not an essential. A6772.4, program for the aging contractual, $1,150. That line actually has $1,500, but we promised $350 to Meals on Wheels, which is something seniors in our community do utilize.
Right, but they don't need the rest of it for trips this year.
Exactly. So I kept in Meals on Wheels, but I took out the remainder. Is that okay with everybody? A4540.4, the ambulance contractual, $1,000. The board last year set aside $1,000 because the county was considering starting up their own ambulance service, and we possibly might have had to contribute to that. So that money, that line was put in there by Alicia. Can't see that happening this year. I'm getting no vibes from the county that this is even a possibility. Save it. We're going to cut it out. And the contractual line A12210.11, bookkeeper to the supervisor, will be amended as follows. $3,000 a year for monthly bookkeeping duties, including weekly and monthly payroll, disability statements, retirement reports, quarterly payroll reports to the IRS, along with other daily duties like taking all my calls and saying, what did I do wrong? Not mentioned herein, to be paid at a monthly rate of $250. She will be given one lump sum of $1,500 to compile and process the yearly AUD for the town. And that will also be paid in one lump sum after the AUD's been filed. And $500 to help create the yearly fiscal budget. This includes one trip for her coming physically to Stratford. Any subsequent trips will be paid at a rate of $100 per trip. However, she doesn't charge anything for teleconferencing. That won't be part of it. So if you guys don't want us to physically see her and we just want to put her on speaker and she hears what we're talking about, and that won't be any charge. And again, this is one lump sum of $500 to be made after the official budget for Stratford has been passed. With these changes, this will decrease the contractual line bookkeeper to the supervisor by $1,483. Any thoughts on that? I've taken over all of that work.
You mean the bookkeeping work?
Well, you guys always got Excel sheets from Alicia. I do all of that in QuickBooks for you with the reports, the monthly budget. I take care of all of that. That was stuff that Kelly did do for Alicia, and I take care of that now.
So what does Kelly do for us? Anything?
Yeah, she does the weekly and monthly paychecks, disability statements, retirement reports, quarterly payroll reports to the IRS, and she helps me still. She helps me. She's still a big help with where to appropriate things. For instance, I got a $5.75 check from Guardian Disability, and I'm not even joking. It was made out to Lita Hillier.
Our old bookkeeper.
That's how far back this refund must have gone. And I had no clue where to put it. You know, and she's quick at answering my calls. She's quick at answering my emails. She's explained so many things to me that have made my life a lot easier. So, and I need her on. I still need her on for a lot of things. But I don't think we need to be paying her that much for what I've taken over.
Heather, just run it by again, she does what, weekly and monthly paycheck?
It says it right there under line item C, the contractual line bookkeeper to the supervisor. It lists everything that she does.
So she's taking care of our little problem too with the IRS, with the IRS.
Right, retirement?
Retirement.
Yeah, that's all her. She's,
I don't want to lose that.
oh, of course you don't. I don't want to lose mine either.
It's only like June something that has to be done.
Yep,
I'm not going to lose my benefits down to school because of that.
nope.
And up to date, all the AUDs are all filed, and have they been accepted yet by the state, or, I mean, don't we get something back from the state that says, okay, you're good to go, or?
I believe they have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
We're all
Did you
up to
get
date.
notification of that, or?
Yeah, I have an email saying that it was
Oh,
accepted
okay.
by the state.
Okay.
I'll go back and I'll check to make sure, because I go through 30 emails a day.
That's everything.
I will, how about I will email you when I have that information, and I'll get that to you. It has been, it's definitely been in. That was all done back in March. I believe she had to have everything submitted by sometime around March 15th. So that's when we did our final transfers for the year, if you recall. Furthermore, these changes are effective immediately and will remain in place for the remainder of the 2020 fiscal year or until the Stratford Town Board rescinds these measures in a future resolution. Just to let you know, what we've already paid to Kelly, this is retroactive. She will take the decrease as of right now. So right now her pay, I believe, is $540 a month, and it's going to drop to $250, and it's going to be retroactive. So she will have that $1,500 for filing the AUD. But whatever the differences are, at the end of the year, she will only be paid $5,000. So she'll be taking a cut for the rest of the year, and she's agreed to that. So this is just something as a start. I don't know, there's not much on our little slim budget to cut, but...
Well, you have to start someplace.
Exactly.
And if we don't, we're going to go broke in our little town.
I mean, even if it's $5,000, it's $5,000.
Yeah, it's a start.
So that is my proposed resolution. You all have a
I'll
copy
make a motion that we should go with this resolution.
for the cost-saving initiative for fiscal year 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Can I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that resolution has passed. The only other thing is, I have a WeBoost cell boosting system. Joni knows about it. I've talked about it many times. I'm asking permission for the board if I can install my spare one here for a few reasons. Number one, I am so tired of this satellite internet. It's going to kill me. I'm constantly losing internet, and when Diana's not in, I can't reset
Is
anything.
it just a booster you're gonna?
It's just a booster, and it'll benefit anybody who's in here. And I'm loaning it to the town. I'll even install it. I have no problem doing that. I just asked Norm, there is a unused fireplace or chimney up there that leads to the fireplace in my office. Yeah, and I could just strap it to that. And then the line will come through a window. I mean, it might not be pretty, but it'll boost every cell signal in the area. Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, you name it. So if it's in the area, sorry, my Fitbit was congratulating me.
10,000 steps?
I got 8,000.
8,000 steps, you can feel that.
I talk a lot with my hands.
No,
I'm asking.
It does.
All of a sudden, I thought it was an alarm. I thought I forgot something. I'm asking permission if that's okay, as long as I don't do any, like holes or anything with the building. I don't want to obviously do that. If I could find a way to put it up and
Well, it's not gonna cost us anything.
no,
Well, then
I
I
just,
don't see any problem with it.
Yep.
What do you
is
got?
that okay with everybody? All right.
And please let John or somebody help you. I know you're great at it.
You've seen me up at my roof enough.
I need something like that at home.
It's a wonderful system,
I should look into it.
wonderful system. Okay,
Just remember your need this winter when you do things like that. And then
Right.
maybe you come back with it.
no. All right, I just want to thank all of our residents for their diligence and patience while the township copes with the pandemic and the subsequent requirements we've had to deal with. And we hope to safely resume business soon at that point. All right, we're going to go on to the financial report. Everybody received the monthly budget report. Any questions? No questions? Okay, on to payment of the bills. Can I have a motion to pay the bills?
I make a motion, we pay the bills.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Of course, public speaking is canceled. Any old business? Any new business?
I have something. Hang on, I gotta flip my page.
Oh, come on.
You went too fast. All right. So, I don't know who has that sign out here that says "Welcome to Stratford," and it has the little things like right across from. Okay, Roxanne's come up. That "Welcome to Stratford" sign. Is that ours? Is it the seniors?
That's ours.
That's,
So,
It's not the seniors. It belongs to the town of Stratford. It's a town of Stratford property over there. That is our sign Anita Weinberg had it put in.
okay. So here's my question: are we doing anything with it?
it's too much of a pain in the butt to change the letters out. I believe the letters are right
The
there.
letters are tough to slide on and off because the screws are like, they're just plastic things on there when you slide the letters in, because I've done it lots of times, and after a while, like it's really cold outside, you want to change it, they're froze to it, number one, and they get stuck in there sliding, and like I said, there's these like little screws. Why would you want to do it?
So I think we should put something up, or, I mean, I'll go down and do it if it's an issue to put the letters in. I just wondered who had the letters, if they're at the town market.
It is kind of awkward just being empty.
Yeah.
Even if it says "Welcome to Stratford," it's
Right.
better than nothing.
Or I think it's Stratford and just welcome or hello, I don't know, something, just we can come up with something, or if you just want to put it happy camping, it's camping season almost, something just welcoming. On that same token then, if that sign is actually ours as the town, I would volunteer, or if there's a fund for it, whatever, to put something in there for the, you
No
know, just
fund
to make
for
it
it.
look, yeah, that's
You
what,
just want
that's what I
permission to
figured, but I was
use
gonna
it.
double check, you know, make sure it wasn't, like I said, the seniors or someone else's, but, you know, put something in there for the summer, just to make it look a little bit more welcoming as you come into the town, especially now. If that's okay, or if you all want to
I'll
do
second
it
it.
with me,
Nobody made a motion.
I don't know if it's a motion or what it is, I'm just asking you if we
It
can
is.
do something.
You don't need a motion.
So, and I'll get the letters from whoever has it, if you have a slogan or saying, like, Stratford 100, I don't know, something, we could do it.
No handshakes, finger guns.
Right, or great job, Stratford.
Well, you're limited to lines of the letters you can put on there, so you gotta be careful how many words you can put on there.
I don't see an issue as long as the phrase has been approved by everybody.
Shorter the
or-
better.
Go ahead.
Well, how about that, we'll start with that, maybe next month add to it. Do something on the foot part, like, I don't know, some.
Flowers or-
Flowers or lilies from the side of the road, I don't know, put something in there, I don't know if they've done it before.
Yeah, we've had
Mulch even.
flowers in there, but you just have to take care of it.
Yeah,
Because the
yeah.
weeds will take over.
Right. That's-
You wanna take that
That's,
on.
you know,
Yeah.
Just-
I used to do it, but I don't wanna get all bit up, so you want to get all bit up, take it, go ahead.
Where's the letters and stuff?
They're
Yeah,
right
that's
there in the
here.
office.
Oh, you're in
Okay.
the town market.
Yep, they're right on, file cabinets behind the door to Diana's office.
well, if you see me down there, then I'll do that, and then
I'm open Saturday, so,
Okay.
you know, then everything will be unlocked
Okay.
for you.
And then the next point, and it's just throwing this out there, again, I know there's no money, just saying as far as maybe it might be nice to do a card or something, our seniors this year, Mrs. Levitt, you would probably know because your son's a senior too. I'm not sure how many seniors there are in Stratford, not the seniors in high school. With the whole COVID thing going on, they had kind of gotten ripped out of their senior year, whatever, thought it might be a nice idea. I'd be willing to donate something if you guys all want to. If we don't want to go the donation route, we don't have to. Do a letter of something, just encouraging them as far as we're their township, we're supporting them, great job this year. Send it
How are
out
you
to the
gonna get it
seniors.
to them?
Mrs. Levitt, we could mail it to them, you know, just.
First, we need to,
I,
Huh?
congrats
Yeah,
seniors.
exactly, yeah, or something like that, just let them know we're behind them, great job this year, they got checked out of the senior year, it'd be nice to just show our support for them while they're.
Because they don't even know if they're gonna have a graduation yet or not. I mean, their stuff is in the gym, they gotta let them come in to get it. I mean, they're taking precautions down there.
And that is, I don't know if this is public knowledge yet or not, but when I talked to Mrs. Levitt today, they are approved to have a graduation, and they can have parents there, but it's not gonna be like a full-on graduation as normal, but they're the first one in Herkimer County, which even though we're not in Herkimer County, I told her it's a great thing that they got that approved, and Department of Health approved it, so.
They probably just, you know, no big families,
Right,
just
and,
parents
you
and.
know, and so I just think, you know, it's a weird time, you're not gonna be able to say it any other time to them, so I think it's good to encourage them, we don't know what they're gonna do, that might be the last.
Are you just asking for the board's endorsement to put the name on the letter congratulating them, or?
Or, yeah, or if there's any ideas, anything further that you wanna add to, get them a $10 gift certificate, each of us put in $10, there's 5 seniors, you know, whatever, I'm just saying, I'd like to do something from the town, and if you have
I think
an
the letter
idea.
would be fine. Just do the letter.
There's 5
appreciation
seniors from
letter.
Stratford?
That as she can calculate, it's tough because there's eligible addresses.
I would actually, what I would love to see, if you want me to throw my 2 cents in, is all the seniors post for a picture together here in
In
Stratford.
front of the sign that says congratulations.
Congrats, seniors.
No, well, 6-foot distancing.
Don't get too
Still.
excited
Right,
now.
But that's what I'm
But-
saying, it's just something,
Yeah, you can take
throw it out there.
I've got a professional camera and I like taking
Yeah,
photos.
like, you know, just an idea, and, like, I don't know if you've ever done it before in Stratford, whatever, it's just an idea that it's especially.
Find out how many are even in Stratford, because if there's like 2, then.
Hey, it's better than nothing.
I mean, we'll do the letter and, you know, put something together.
And
How's that?
that's what I'm asking, are any other suggestions?
I don't,
Send them a business card, sign it, give it to them, I don't know, you know, any other things?
Was it last year, 2 years ago, we did something for the seniors, didn't we?
No, she's talking about the seniors at school.
Yeah, that's what I mean, but,
I
a
don't know
couple
what
years
we
ago, there were only like 2 or 3, didn't we send them, a nice card and a little,
I don't remember that.
no? No.
Yeah, they
This year, this year it's just gonna be an IOU, okay, I'm sorry.
That's great.
Right, yeah.
I think that's great.
I think if we could put something together, I'm for it.
Okay.
I don't mind putting a little, you know, I'll put a little money towards it, but, I mean, I'll even pay for my own sons, because there's nothing I like more than to embarrass him, like,
And it doesn't even
completely.
have to be money, like it just, something, and I think it's
The
important.
picture, by the sign and stuff.
Yeah, we can send it to them or something.
And you can even, I don't know if you saw right on my house, I have the DCS Blue
She
Devil
did mention
sign.
that too, yeah.
I put that one up because he goes, I don't want being acknowledged, being a senior isn't that big of a deal. I'm like, oh, you want to bet? And I bought a special sign.
I
So-
think it's a good thing to acknowledge them, especially
Did you pick up
this
his stuff at
stuff too, so.
You didn't pick up his stuff at school?
No, I think he did.
Come on.
No, he did.
Okay.
Allison's got delivered. Anyway, okay, on to,
Yeah.
proposed executive session. We have a letter here from Gary Rumrill that if you guys would like to discuss in the open realm, it's about something we discussed in executive session when we were going over the appointment to the bar. Personally, it's already out, so I don't see the reason to go into executive session for this. I don't. But I'm gonna see if anybody else would like to make that motion. I'm gonna leave that out there for you.
Well, I suggest maybe we do make a motion that you don't go to executive session for it. But that's just me, but maybe I should stay out of it, but I'm just stating that. That's all I'm saying.
You know, you two are so quiet.
Well, I'm just thinking, okay,
I'm gonna leave it up to you.
We're sitting right here, so other than saying executive session, so it doesn't leave the door, what we talk about.
Well,
Otherwise,
It's-
it's just,
The difference are minutes are kept here, minutes are kept in executive session unless you take action, which you wouldn't do anyways. In other words, you wouldn't take a vote in executive session, you'd have your discussion in executive session, you'd come out of executive session and then take your vote.
yeah, okay, so.
And we're not, is there any action we would be taking?
No, you do that in open, I would advise you to do that in open
In
session.
open session.
Right, but your discussions can take place in executive session where minutes aren't kept. That's the only difference.
Okay.
And not only that, you can exclude people. You could exclude the four of us that aren't part of the board and have your own discussion without us present.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do I have a motion to go into executive session at 8:35 PM?
Well, I'm just saying, why don't we just exclude those guys then and not bother to go into executive session?
The notes will still be
You can't
taken.
exclude them without going into executive.
Yeah, that if you,
They have the right to be here.
it's either public or private.
I'm
Okay.
gonna ask you to rephrase that again. It is a letter about what? Could you state it again?
It's a letter about something we discussed in executive session
You
during,
could say that it's a letter.
Well, read the letter so
It's
there's.
an open session, it's an open letter.
Then let's do executive session then.
well, I'll read the letter, and then if somebody wants to make the motion, does that seem acceptable?
Sure.
Board members, I feel like I'm being mistreated by the Stratford Town Board members. Next month, I like to meet with them in executive meeting to discuss a personal matter. If not, I will talk in public speaking to bring this matter to everyone's attention. Gary Rumrill.
Okay, so I make the motion, we go into executive session at 8:38.
Do I have a second?
I'll say
All in favor?
Aye.
I would like to invite the lawyer into our executive session.
You have that?
And you
Eh,
guys may be excused.
I will eye it with the lawyer. Get out.
That's not, I'm ready to beat anyway.
And you're free, Diana, you're free to leave. Like I said, just leave the cord on my desk.
Thank you, Norm. Thank you, Diana, thank you.
Yeah, see you.
Here, let me